First of all, you have to understand, why is gold up? Gold is up because central banks are buying it. Now, the logical question is, why are central banks not buying Bitcoin instead of gold if Bitcoin is superior? A couple of reasons. One, Bitcoin is new. It's only 17 years old. Most of these central bankers had their professional jobs before Bitcoin was even invented. To them, Bitcoin is new, it is scary, it is unknown, and so they go back to what they know, which is gold. Now, why gold? Well, there's only two things in the world that are big enough right now for central banks to buy. And by big enough, I mean they have enough liquidity. Liquidity is important because you need to be able to get something into it and out of it without completely crashing the price or mooning the price. So you just don't have a lot of options. U.S. Treasury securities, which is U.S. government debt, and gold. Those are the only assets that have tens of trillions of dollars in liquidity, which means you can buy $1 trillion of it and then you can sell $1 trillion of it. And you might move the price some, but you can actually do that. It's actually possible to do that. You cannot buy or sell $1 trillion of Bitcoin right now. Even if central banks decided all of a sudden they wanted to adopt Bitcoin, only about 12% of all the Bitcoin is on exchanges for sale right now, which means if you wanted to buy as much Bitcoin as possible, you can only buy like $100 billion of Bitcoin before the price goes to infinity, because you basically bought up all the Bitcoin that's for sale. But you cannot buy $100 billion of Bitcoin without radically jacking the price way up. You know, right now, if somebody bought $100 billion overnight, the price would go to $500,000 at least, if not $1 million, if you bought it that fast. Now, you can buy it, you can't buy it that fast. But central banks need to be able to sell or buy $100 billion of something. The only two things you can do $100 billion of something quick is U.S. Treasury securities and gold. U.S. Treasury securities have tens of trillions of dollars in liquidity, but the problem is, as of the Ukraine war, when the United States took away Russia's U.S. dollar reserves, they basically just liquidated Russia and took their money away. It communicated to the entire world that your money is not safe in U.S. dollars, because if you get crossways with the United States, we're just going to take your money away. Countries have been reluctant to buy U.S. Treasury securities, U.S. government debt, even though tens of trillions of dollars worth of liquidity, they view it as a dangerous asset class because the government of the United States can just take it away from you on a whim. Okay, so that leaves exactly one asset that has tens of trillions of dollars of liquidity and a non-sovereign asset, which is gold, because Bitcoin is less than 2 trillion. So as a result of that, central banks piled into gold because gold was the only thing that had enough liquidity that they could buy and sell hundreds of billions of dollars of it on a whim, which is what they did. They've been hoovering up ridiculous amounts of gold for the last few years, trying to diversify out of U.S. government debt. They're dumping those and buying gold instead. So that drives up the price of gold.